Hello, my name is Jeanette Mercer, the Program Director for Elementary ESL. This short video is to remind you the expectations for language objectives. Here are my objectives for this presentation. You will identify and create a language objective that is aligned to the ELPS by using this video. You will create a content and language objective by using the TEKS and ELPS to apply in the classroom. Language objectives are a part of SIOP, but also please remember that implementing the ELPS and language objectives in your lesson is a state requirement. Language objectives should be posted in an area where students can see or read the objective. They should be student-friendly. However, we want to make sure academic vocabulary is in the objective so the students are getting used to the terms stated at the beginning of the lesson so your students know the expectation. It should be delivered during the lesson. So you will have to think about what activities you will use to complete the objective. It should be reviewed at the end of the lesson to ensure alignment, success, and completion of the language goal. And it should be changed. All ELPS should be covered, so the language objective should change as well. Here is a review of a content objective. We have three parts. We have the cognitive verb, which in this example is classify. The second part of the objective is the descriptive content, which should be aligned to the TEKS. In this case, the TEKS states to classify states of matter as solids, liquids, and gases. The last part is the product, or the proving behavior. So I have to think, how am I going to make sure my students can classify solids, liquids, and gases? Well, they will have to classify objects and create an anchor chart. Just as the content objective has three parts, the language objective does as well. Content is aligned to the TEKS, and language objectives are aligned to a specific ELPS. For this example, I'm going to use the ELPS 2.F, which is a listening standard that states understanding language through a variety of media. The first part of the language objective is the verb, which is use and listen. The second part of the verb is the descriptive content, which should be aligned to the ELPS. Here, it is to a video to review the states of matter. And I'll be using TeacherTube SciOnTheFly States of Matter. The third part of the product or proving behavior. So in this case, the student will use a graphic organizer to take notes. The graphic organizer will be the product that will let me know if students were successful at listening to the video. When deciding on the product or behavior, you should ask yourself, how will I know if they were successful? How will I check for my students' understanding in content and in language? Please make sure your language objectives are specific. They should not be vague objectives. For example, today we will learn the states of matter by listening or by speaking. Let's take a look at the ELPS. This is just a summary. There's another document that's more thorough. But as you can see, under listening, there are 9 specific standards. So we want to make sure that we are aligned to a specific ELP. In my example, I use 2.F, which is understand language from a variety of media. So I use the video. We should be explicit with the ELPS and language objectives, just like we are with the TEKS and content objectives. We don't say objectives like, today we're going to learn math. No, we pick a specific TEK and we include it in our content objective. Here is another example. We are going to use the TEKS 3.5, which is predict, observe, and record changes in the states of matter caused by heating or cooling. So the content objective would be students will make predictions, observe, and record the changes in the states of matter by using hot and cold temperatures with a variety of objects. So it's kind of like a lab activity. The ELPS I am choosing to use this day is C.5b, which is write using newly acquired basic vocabulary and content-based grade level vocabulary. So then my objective would be students use a word bank of science vocabulary terms when recording their observations in their science journal. During the lab, students will be interactive. They may be speaking, listening, and maybe have to write or read about the states of matter. However, my goal is C.5B. On this particular day, I want to make sure my students write using content-based grade level vocabulary. When planning, you should always include your ELPs to prepare for the language standard that you want to use to drive your instruction. The stronger the language skills your students will have, the easier they will be able to understand content. So to review our presentation, let's look at our objectives. Now you should be able to identify and create a language objective that is aligned to the ELPs by using this video. And you will be able to create a content and language objective by using the TEKS and ELPs to apply in the classroom. I'm also attaching a couple of documents that will have the summary of the ELPs and some other information that will assist you. Any questions? Here is my email address and my Twitter username. Thank you for listening, and I hope you are ready for some great and powerful language objectives. Have a wonderful day.